Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year, or happy belated New Year. I'm finally back with, I want to say, a very thorough update. I want to go over where I've been the past year or so and how I kind of reflected on that and realized that stepping away from this account was a mistake. If you are new here, hi, I'm Josie, also known as the Ex-Plant Eater. I have an Instagram account and a YouTube account as well, obviously, where I talk about my experience getting into full remission from ulcerative colitis after being diagnosed with it as a vegan. I was vegan for 14 years. I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis at about year 10 of being vegan. I tried to manage my colitis whilst staying vegan for 4 years. It didn't work, and finally I decided to start the carnivore diet after I stopped being vegan. I was able to get, for the first time, to a place where I went into full remission from ulcerative colitis. So that's what my content is about. That's what my YouTube channel is centered around. I would say during the last few months of 2023, or 2023 in general, I wasn't updating too much on this account. I was kind of trying to find where my niche was in terms of making content like this, because while I can tell my story, it does get a little redundant, and I did kind of hit a wall where I didn't necessarily know where I was going. But on the other hand, I know that talking about these things is important, and that is what kind of kicked me in the butt to remind me of the fact that I should still be talking about this. So I wanted to preface everything else with talking about why I made this account. So in 2021, when I stopped being vegan, a lot of people in my personal life knew me as that person who had been vegan forever, basically. I had been vegan for 14 years, so everybody that knew me to just about any extent knew that I was vegan. And one of the only places I really announced that I was no longer vegan was Instagram, on my personal Instagram. And I got a lot of mixed responses, but mostly the I would say overall general response was apathy. There were a few people, like few and far between, who, you know, told me that they were happy for me. And to some of you, this might sound like I just didn't get the attention that I was seeking in regards to this, but I felt like there was something more profound about it that was valuable to share with others, and I did not find that in my personal life. Most people, I think, were very confused, because I think the general consensus is that veganism is healthy, and I had found the opposite. And I don't really think that you can find that unless you go through such a long period of time being vegan, find that it doesn't work for you, find that it ruins your health, and then have the complete opposite happen and feel so much better when you decide to try something that is the opposite for some people. In my case, it was basically the opposite of veganism. So I made my Instagram account to talk about my story, and I almost made it as a joke. I remember talking about what I should name it with my fiance, and I literally came up with the name Ex-Plant Eater kind of as a joke, like, you know, being hyperbolic. So that was how it came about. And then I made my first few posts telling my story, and I found a community, which is all of you, that was actually receptive to it and found what I was talking about to be valuable. And obviously, being in a position where a debilitating disease that I was told I would have my whole life, that I would have to take medication for my whole life, to be in a place where that is healed for me naturally, there isn't much that is better than that could replace that. So it's invaluable to me, I would say. So that is why I started my account, kind of as a joke, and then to just tell my story, to relate to a community that found value in it, that also contained people with the same experiences, so that I would also be able to validate to myself that I'm not crazy. And honestly, the outpouring of support was completely unexpected and very surreal. Like, it almost didn't feel real to me at times, because my account grew so quickly. I feel very blessed to have been able to talk to some of the people in the community that I did that first year that I created this account. And I was building this momentum that eventually kind of came to a head, and I didn't really know where to go next. And I think that's a part of why I did take a break from making content. So again, I was building this momentum that it almost got to the point where I felt like I couldn't keep up with it, and I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to either become a coach or to get some kind of professional training in regards to nutrition so I could feel more comfortable talking about these things. I was pressuring myself to do more live videos, initiate doing podcasts with people, like planning my own podcasts, and certain things are just not up my alley to want to do. And I think all of that in a nutshell is a part of why I just decided to take a break. And again, I'm super grateful for the momentum that I was able to build this, these past 2 years of having this account. And this year I feel like I want to try to find my niche and create videos that are within this realm that have value, that will be fresh and exciting for people to watch. I'm very interested in things like exposing corruption. So exposing corruption having to do with the fake meat industry and veganism, and things having to do with the meat industry as well, current events, news. I would like to start covering things like that. The next thing that I wanted to cover was how I've been reflecting on the way that I felt last year, and I went back and I watched a few YouTube videos that I made last year and some of the Instagram videos that I made. I gained a lot of clarity on the place of insecurity I was coming from at the time and the frustration that was building in me. I think partially because I was hitting a wall with what kind of content to make, but also because and this is really nonsensical in retrospect, but I was feeling a lot of shame in regards to the way that I eat and wanting to hide it from people and not talk about it. And it's a part of why I made my Instagram private. I tried to justify it to myself and to you guys in other ways, but that's totally why I made my Instagram private. And it was also because something personal happened with somebody I knew. I've talked about it on here. I talked about it on my Instagram as well. But the general reason was because I was feeling like I needed to hide the way that I eat from people, and that had to do with people in my personal life, coworkers, with people who watch my content on my other account, Weird History Gal. I felt like I needed to prevent them from finding this account because, oh, maybe they know somebody who's vegan. Maybe they think veganism is healthy. And oh God, what will they think if they find my content? And I guess I was kind of exaggerating to myself about how divisive I've been with vegans. The vegans that come to my page that leave comments, the rhetoric that they have has made me feel, I think, like I've been more aggressive with them than I actually have. But on the other hand, it was also because of just these like fantasy situations that I was playing out in my head of, so-and-so finding my account. And, maybe it's not fantasy. Like it could easily happen. It did happen at some points, and I'll get to that. But I was making it so much worse in my mind. And ultimately I've realized in the past few weeks, as I've been thinking really deeply about what I want to do this year, what I want to accomplish, the content that I want to put out on this account, that I need to just let the chips fall where they may. And if somebody I know finds my account, or somebody that watches my other content finds my account and they really find it so offensive, then that is, your problem. My main message is talking about gaining my health back after a very debilitating disease that literally almost killed me. So if you're not okay with me talking about how I did that, then that is your own problem. I think anybody else who does a strict carnivore diet probably knows the social aspect of it can be a little awkward. People will not understand why you're not eating junk food, why you're not partaking in, eating some food that all your coworkers are eating, why you don't get something to eat out at a restaurant. You kind of become a spectacle if you don't engage in eating the things that everybody else eats, because people find it to be so strange. And I definitely had some situations like that. I'm not going to go over it again, but I had a former friend try to contact me anonymously on my carnivore account to call me a grifter, to accuse me of lying about how my health improved from starting the carnivore diet. That was crazy. That was another valid reason that I did make my account private for a little bit, but I've gotten over it. And again, if somebody else wants to try to do that, come at me. I've also had, I would say, an acquaintance make a cryptic joke about the way that I eat, and I knew exactly what that person was referring to, but I don't think they realized that I did. It, indicated that people that I knew have definitely seen my videos and talked about me behind my back. And it's fine if you want to do that, but I would invite you to think about your own health problems and then think about the way that you eat and compare it to the fact that I have solved all of my health problems by the way that I eat. So Anyway, yeah, I've had some awkward situations happen. I don't doubt that they're going to happen in the future as well, but ultimately I stand behind the carnivore diet, and it is something that I continue to do because it continues to keep my ulcerative colitis in remission. And introducing even the most benign things, such as seasonings, anything besides mineral salt, gives me inflammation, affects my digestion negatively. People love to come at me and say that they don't understand why I needed to go from veganism to carnivore, and that is your answer. This is the only way of eating that does not cause me digestive issues on a daily basis, painful acne on a daily basis, mood swings, bad PMS. All of those things for me, as long as I stay on a really strict carnivore diet, all of those things remain in alignment for me. My digestive issues don't exist anymore. I don't even get constipation or diarrhea unless I deviate and have like a seasoning. And you know, people think like when you say deviate, oh, are you cheating? No, I'm literally just having like maybe some dill or some pepper or a little bit of hot sauce. Even if I do those things, it affects my digestion, it affects my skin, it gives me rosacea. And the more I do it, the more it starts to compound. So again, that is what keeps me on this way of eating. Now that I have given you guys that overview of the way I've been feeling and the potential direction of my account this year, I did want to tell you guys exactly what I ate today. Obviously, this isn't a what I eat in a day video, but I did think to write everything down because I get questions all the time about what I eat in a day. So this morning I had coffee with heavy cream and beef tallow, and mind you, this is a very good example of what I do eat every day. I actually did start using ButcherBox. That was one of the decisions that I made in early January, that I wanted to start eating meat of better quality. And you do not have to do this. If all you can afford is conventionally raised meat, then do that. It is still much better for you than any type of processed food could ever be. But I just personally decided that because I think it's going to be better for me overall. I know that that meat is more nutrient dense. So that was just a decision I made. I'm really happy with ButcherBox so far. It's not a sponsorship or anything. I don't have a discount code for you. I just really like it. So anyway, the next thing that I ate was, I don't know if this is the actual cut of meat, but it's like Boston pork butt. I've also heard that that's like pork shoulder, but it's from ButcherBox. It's like pasture raised and it's really good. I had a few slices of that. It was leftovers from last night. After that, I had a few tablespoons of butter before I left. We were in a hurry. We had to do our grocery shopping today. When we got back from grocery shopping, I did make pancakes with Equip protein powder yesterday. So this was another leftover. I had a few of those protein pancakes, and before you guys come for me in the comments and say that that's not carnivore, it is just made with grass-fed beef flour. The only ingredient is grass-fed beef. I actually really like their unflavored protein powder. I don't have anything to say about the other flavors just because they have other things in them. I'm personally not going to try them, but if you can tolerate them, it seems like it is a really good brand overall. But I have only tried the unflavored protein. But the pancakes were made with unflavored protein powder, eggs, and gelatin, and then just a tiny bit of baking soda. So overall, besides the baking soda, they were only made with animal products. I had 2 of those that were left over, and then I had 4 pieces of prosciutto. Prosciutto, again, whenever you're buying anything like this, you have to check the ingredients. I've seen some prosciuttos that have other things in them, like added colors and whatnot. So you always have to check it, but most prosciuttos are just pork and salt. So most of them will be safe for you to have if you do have to keep your diet really simple for whatever reason, like me. So prosciutto I tend to be able to eat as long as it only has pork and salt. The one that I get is from Trader Joe's and it's just pork and salt. Then I had for an early dinner like about a 12-ounce flat iron steak, and after that I just had a cup of black coffee. Yes, I still drink coffee. Obviously, like I mentioned, that I had that this morning as well. I don't really tend to get issues from black coffee even. I don't know if I'm gonna cut it out. I don't have plans to right now. It is one of my only vices left. And if it was actually giving me serious issues, obviously I would cut it out, but right now it seems to be fine. Something else that I do have throughout the day, I've kind of become addicted to it. Not really, but I drink these a lot. is Liquid Death. They are mineral waters. If you're not familiar with them, they kind of look like beer cans, but I promise they're not. They are just sparkling mineral water. And I put lemon juice in those once a day. I would guess about maybe a teaspoon. That's all I have for the day. And I do that for electrolytes, and also because I think that getting the vitamin C from some lemon juice is good. Now that I've been eating grass-fed meat from Butcher Box, I've been eating a lot more grass-fed meat. Even when I go food shopping, actually, we've been buying more grass-fed meat and pasture-raised meat. I believe that that does have more vitamin C in it, so potentially lemon juice won't be necessary for me to have if I keep doing this. Like if I start to get issues from having lemon juice, obviously I would stop. But as long as I keep it at about a teaspoon, it's usually fine and I enjoy it. If I do have more than a teaspoon, it does tend to make my throat hurt. So again, I just can't really have more than that. Same thing with apple cider vinegar. I know some people that start off doing the carnivore diet will have it because it helps with digestion. I was able to tolerate it in the beginning, and now it tends to make my skin dry. It gives me rosacea. It makes me bloated. It affects my digestion. So again, it's just something that I found throughout trial and error that it's not agreeing with me anymore. So I had a few liquid deaths throughout the day, one of them with a little bit of lemon juice, and then I have Remnant's real salt to season my food. Otherwise, I don't have seasonings. I've given up even on Tabasco sauce, which used to be another one of my vices, but I can't tolerate it, so I gave it up. So that is a really good example of what I usually eat in a day. When I do have work, I usually do make my coffee with like more heavy cream than when I'm home, and then I put a few tablespoons of beef tallow, or like a tablespoon of beef tallow and a tablespoon of butter in it, and I put a little bit of mineral salt in it. I will do that in the morning and it'll hold me over until lunch. So generally when I am going to work, I don't have breakfast in the morning, but if I'm home, this is a very good representation of what I usually eat for the day. So lastly, to close this video, I did want to talk about some products that I've been using recently that I would totally recommend. I did mention Butcher Box already. I refrained from getting something like Butcher Box even though I was tempted in the past, and it was only because at the time I felt like, well, I could just go to the store and buy this meat, but really going to the store, it would cost about the same amount, but it wouldn't be meat of the same quality. So I eventually realized that it would probably benefit me, benefit my health to do that, and it really doesn't even cost much more than one grocery bill for me for the week. So I decided to invest in that, and so far I'm really happy with it. I'm gonna keep it for the time being, and I would totally recommend it. I still use Noahic Balm on my skin. One of their products I highly recommend, and I do have a discount code for them. I will flash the discount code on here, and obviously I'll have a link in the description, but they came out with a new product that is just beef tallow and emu oil. So it is 100% animal based. It is really good for people with super sensitive skin because it doesn't have any additives in it. I have been using that every single day, twice a day for the past, I don't even know, like 3 months. And again, it's called Nourish. It is just beef tallow and emu oil. Another product that I'm pretty happy with, but I did try kind of as an experiment, and also because their marketing of it has been so effective clearly, is the Ancestral Blends Female Enhancement Supplement. I wanted to try it again just because the marketing was so good. I kept seeing it pop up on Instagram, and I hadn't been taking any organ supplements in a while, but on the other hand, I don't really enjoy organs, so I haven't been consuming them that much. So I was like, you know what, I'm kind of curious. I just want to see if it works or if I notice anything. So I did buy that. It's kind of expensive. It's like $70, but every once in a while I will buy their products because they are like top quality in my opinion. They do work. I started including beef tallow in my diet because their beef tallow supplement works so well. So I have had really positive results. I didn't get this product because I was having any hormone issues. In fact, my PMS has been better than it's ever been. Sometimes I literally don't know when I'm getting my period because I don't get pain before it. It literally surprises me some months. So again, I didn't get this product because of any reason like that. I just wanted to see if I noticed any, changes or differences. What I did notice is I feel like I've been more assertive. The only way I can explain that, or the only way it makes sense to me, is that it's almost like PMS, how when you know, before that time of the month, you might get a little more testy, you might have mood swings. This has, after using it for about 4 days, I never take the recommended amount. I take like 3 to 4 capsules a day. I've noticed that I just have less tolerance for mindless conversations. I have no patience for it. While I'm still very good at keeping my cool and being polite towards people, I've noticed that I'm getting to the point where I don't have a lot of patience anymore for things like that, and I can really only attribute it back to this supplement in terms of, you know, this change. It's nothing drastic, but it's just something I've noticed. So in a way too, I wonder if I can almost attribute my feelings about this account to this supplement, to making me kind of get to the point where I was like, you know what, screw what everyone thinks. I need to keep talking about these topics because they are very important, and I do feel like a part of how it's been making me feel might have helped to push me in this direction. But either way, I'm glad to be here now, and either way, I would highly recommend it. I would highly recommend just about all of their supplements. Like, a lot of supplements I feel like are snake oil, or they don't actually do much, and with every single product that I've tried by them, I actually feel a distinct difference and improvement. So again, I would highly recommend them. The only products of theirs or any other supplement company that makes organ blends, the only type of thing that I would be wary of is if they use rice additives in their supplements. I know some ancestral blend supplements do use, I believe, rice silicate in them, and I've found with those that they don't tend to agree with me as well, although, you know, they don't cause any drastic symptoms, but I tend to do much better with the ones that are just organs and gelatin, and this female enhancement supplement is just organs and gelatin. So that is my update, guys. Those are some products I've been using as of late. That is what my current diet is looking like. And that is why I took a break last year, and I'm very happy that it's over, but I do recognize that I probably did just need the time in general to unwind and be able to reflect a little bit, gain some perspective so that I could create better content for you guys going forward. So I am excited to do that. I'm excited to be back, and I hope that all of your years are starting out well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.